whenever she refuses and she doesn't have a valid reason. If a woman is sick, if a woman is experiencing difficulty or hardship for whatever reason, that's a valid reason. But she was asking the husband for a diamond ring. She wanted to go on a vacation here and there.
Or
and
go out with her friends for the night.
No, and he said, can't afford it, or he refused. And now, honey, let's go to bed. She says, no, like, you refused to give me what I wanted, so I will refuse to give you what you needed. In this case, yes, the hadith is definitely applicable. But it is not applicable when the woman is sick. And that's why I said we differentiate. As a husband, I know whenever my wife had a tough day, I say, let go this time. You understand? But the cases that we receive all the time, when the wife doesn't want to, she barely gives him this right. I mean, he struggles with it and he feels like he was on a battlefield. She's not interested. In this case, Allah has given him a way out. But she is saying, no, you cannot marry another woman. I'm going to report you.
Over my dead body.
So it's like, you want him to be chaste, you want him not to marry other than you, and meanwhile you're depriving him from the basic rights. Look, a huge percentage of the church-going people in the States, they say up to 60%, they have outside marriage relationship. The President of the United States had outside marriage relationship with the interns in his office. It happens. Why? Maybe wife is busy. Maybe he's exposed to a lot of fitan and he doesn't have an access to fulfill this desire in a lawful fashion. If he fulfilled it in a lawful fashion, he wouldn't even think about it again. So you need to think about it this way. You want to preserve your marriage, you want to protect your husband, you want to keep the integrity of your family, you have to understand that there are rights and obligations, and they go both ways.
And one thing I want to add is the relationship between husband and wife should be so beautiful that these things should be understood. Many marriages, in fact, let's be fair, I think most of the marriages, they have a good understanding to say, you know what, the wife is not feeling well, or she's tired, or she has a headache, or there is something, or you can sense that maybe she's sad about something happened. I mean, someone passed away, something. And so there should be a good understanding where there doesn't even need to be a deep discussion about this.
And normally that happens occasionally, not on regular basis.
Yes, and that happens occasionally, but the understanding is so beautiful. In fact, people actually know that, you know what, they know their spouses without going into details. So it's good to have such a beautiful relationship that we don't even get to the
complaints that we receive,
to the war.
All of us, is simply the complaints that we normally receive is when one of the spouses, mainly the wife, is normally saying no, no, no for no reason, not showing a reason. So in this case, the husband is upset. The husband is looking for a way to fulfill this desire, even in an unlawful fashion. So as we speak about the wife have rights and the husband have to take the initiative to fulfill those rights, likewise, the wife should keep in mind that the man have rights, and those rights are very pressing, very pressing. So if she's not able to, honey, tonight I have migraine. Would you please excuse me tonight? No problem. At least we'll cuddle and I'll give you ruqya, whatever. But if it is something that habitual, every night, in this case, it becomes really problematic.
In counseling, when I counsel couples in particular, where the husband is addicted to pornography and the wife caught him in the act, then the jealousy factor becomes absolutely disturbing to the wife.
What do you mean, the jealousy factor?
Like now she thinks that he's cheating on her.
Okay.
So she wanted to be involved in every aspect of his life, including satisfying him sexually. And when the wives join the husbands during the recovery, I have noticed the improvement of the men. So because now the wives are really offering 100% support in that area.
But I want to say one thing, Habibi. To be honest with you, whenever one of the spouses, which is mainly the husband, is addicted, no matter what the wife does, she will never satisfy him. Simply because she's modest and she can never compete with these prostitutes and with those who are in the industry. So that's why we gotta keep in mind that those who are into this kind of addiction, they need treatment, they need counseling, and this is not a matter of a week or two or a month or two. This is a long-term treatment
a long time
in order to detox.
Yeah, I was just referring to the fact that once the wife becomes really supportive in this regards, in whatever way possible, and of course we go through a lot of treatment programs, then the husbands start to become at least better than before in terms of the addictive behavior.
You know, the other way, when a woman is addicted to porn, and a lot of the times you find a man who is not on that path with her, if he catches her basically or sees that, he is less tolerant by far of her misgivings than if it were the other way around.
It ended in divorce.
It ends in divorce because he just can't take it. So it's a tough one, because obviously as much as we...
Wallahi, may Allah protect us.
Yeah, may Allah protect us. As much as we speaking about the rights of both, but like I said, men are wired differently. Say what you want, they are wired differently.
Yeah, absolutely.
So the way a man processes things and the way a woman processes this type of thing is very different.
That's why we need to...
Neither of them is wrong, but it's just the way that they process this type of thing. And that's why women will never, ever, ever understand why men do certain things. And men will never, ever understand why women do certain things, except by being told through revelation. Honestly. If it is mentioned in the Quran, this is what a woman deserves, and this, you just have to surrender to it, listen to it, and understand that's Allah, the Maker, is telling you, this is how I made them, you better do this, and this is how I made them, you better not do that.
Yeah, let's talk about shopping.
Let's not forget about the power of supplication. Even with regards to the sexual relations, yani the beautiful supplication in Surah Al-Furqan, which is perceived as one of the traits of the true devout servants of the Almighty Allah Ar-Rahman. They regularly pray, رَبَّنَا هَبْ لَنَا مِنْ أَزْوَاجِنَا وَذُرِّيَّاتِنَا قُرَّةَ أَعْيُنٍ وَاجْعَلْنَا لِلْمُتَّقِينَ إِمَامًا. What is قُرَّةَ أَعْيُن? Peace of mind, coolness of one's eyes, comfort? Yes. All of that also is applicable in the condition of the sexual relations. So when I say this dua, it's not only about having a righteous spouse and a goodly offspring, but it covers every level. An obedient wife, a very super nice husband, can afford to take care of a family, satisfying his wife in bed, and she's satisfying him in bed. They have common understanding. When he comes home, like he set his foot in safe haven, you know, this is the barakah.
Exactly. He feels very happy. He can't wait to get back home.
That's why the term قُرَّةَ أَعْيُن.
Allahu Akbar. Allahu Akbar.
Like when I walk into my house, this is heaven. This is safe haven.
Allah.
The world outside is like a wild zoo. I can't wait to get home. Why? Because I have a spouse whom Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala made her for me, قُرَّةَ أَعْيُن. I have kids whom Allah made them for me, قُرَّةَ أَعْيُن, and Allah have made me for my wife and my kids, قُرَّةُ عَيْن.
Like you say, safe haven. What a beautiful word. What a beautiful word.
MashaAllah, tabarakallah.